worried that you might be the cool kid, you wear the latest fashions on top of all the trends? Or have you ever worried you were too much in the mainstream, always so generic, more normal than your friends? Well, we've devised a test to put to rest your fears. There's no need to panic if you lend us your ears. Tonight you can't sleep easy after all that you've heard, 'cause if you like the show, then you're probably a nerd. Okay.
Everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the It's Canon podcast. It is our featured episode because today is Wednesday. Right, guys? It's Wednesday. As always, I am your host. I'm Boris, and this week I am joined by Phil.
Heyo.
And Tyler.
What is happening with the music? It's freaking me out. I don't like change.
And this week we are joined with a special guest from Operation Sports, my other podcasting partner, Matthew Ederer.
What's up? Thanks for having me on. Was that Drake Mavericks theme?
You know it. Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Best friends.
FIFA
14. You know it. And the reason why I am playing that song is because today we are going to be talking about all things video games. Specifically, for the first half, we're going to be talking a lot about sports. We're going to be talking a lot about, the YouTubing and all of that fun stuff. And, I think we're going to have some controversial picks later as we pick our best and worst of this past generation. And when I say this past generation, I actually mean PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Because, we're right in the middle of the week. Yesterday, being Tuesday, Xbox Series X was released. Tomorrow, PlayStation, being Thursday, PlayStation 5 is going to be released. And somewhere en route, hopefully, is my PlayStation 5. All right, guys.
Wait, before you go on, I have two things. First of all, I'm going to need your address, Boris, for, let's say, Christmas presents and not porch pirating you. And secondly, did you call it the YouTube?
The YouTube.
Are you 80?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what my dad calls it. Are you watching the YouTube?
Anyways, Tyler, how are you? It's been a while since we actually talked. I think you and I said 5 words in our last episode.
Did we lose Tyler?
Yeah, I think we lost Tyler.
Just lost
the look of shock.
Hey, old man, it's the power button. You might want to hit the power button on the mic.
The mic was on. My flailing arms unplugged it.
It sounded like last episode.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well done. What's in that glass?
What's in that glass? Nothing now.
And that explains that. So, yeah. Like I asked, we maybe said 5 words last episode. How are you doing? What's new? What's going on in the world of Tyler?
I mean, look, the hunt for a PS5 continues. It's gotten such... Like, it's just a meme now. It's a meme in my own life. I had someone who works at a store that I can't name, but who came to me and was like, you didn't hear this from me, but here's the exact number of that my store got.
Yeah, it's going to be a shit show for sure.
Is it a happy number or a sad number?
Yeah, without naming the person or the store, could you name the number?
Or reference a number close to it?
I will say it is not as much above the pre-order numbers as anyone involved wanted.
Right.
It's above the pre-order numbers, but not as much as anyone involved in the process wanted.
Right. That sounds about right. So yeah, no, it's we're gonna get into a little bit. Phil, how have you been the past couple days? Because today is Wednesday, after all.
Today's Wednesday. I had an awesome Tuesday. Like, it was just killer. But yeah, I'm doing well, man.
Hold on. I really hope nothing bad happens to you in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, look,
I know.
we're leaning heavy into this, and I'm getting real stressed about it.
No, I'm just gonna say, hopefully on that Tuesday, I found a PS5.
It'd be 2 days early. People would be real mad at you.
Hey, you know
Best
what
Buy
though?
just accidentally shipped me one. I don't know.
I've seen some reports, not here in North America, but some people in other countries, mainly Europe, they are starting to get their systems early. So once again, thanks to the pandemic, thanks to no one actually paying attention, stores are going ahead and releasing their shit early.
Yeah, and they basically lifted all embargoes, from what I can tell.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I've seen a few reviewers that have had problems with units today, but I don't think it's anything to be widespread or worried about. It's just the fact that thousands of these things have been made, and yeah, they're the first ones off the block, so they don't know what errors they're looking for per se.
Yep.
But, it's getting out there.
Yep.
All of the stuff on the Xbox is getting leaked away, and I imagine PS5 is going to be a tsunami.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I saw just a phenomenal leak about the PS5 today, where one of the people who actually designed the physicality of that thing, like that is a design. Someone's job is to design that and figure out what it's going to look like and how it's going to balance, and then go up with a stand for it.
Yeah, they call it the industrial designer.
Yeah. So there was someone involved in that process who leaked that this is after management made them make it smaller.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
You know what's crazy? And it's funny that you bring that up, because actually one of the first things I was going to say was I was watching a review, and I knew it was large, but I never realized it's basically the size of 2 PlayStation 4s together in every fucking direction. And I'm thinking, where the fuck am I even going to put that? And I don't know why I'm swearing so much today, but I'm trying to think of where I'm even going to put that system.
Yeah, I bought a new television stand in preparation.
Right? That's crazy, man. Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
I'm gonna tuck it in beside my TV.
You're talking
So
about
I
the
don't
PlayStation.
even have to look at it.
What about you, Matt? How are you feeling about the new
Yeah.
generation coming in?
Right. So I'm the type that usually waits, so I'm not gonna get it right away. But I didn't realize it was so huge. It's physically the size of 2 PlayStation 4s.
Just
It's
about.
gargantuan.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. You guys are all 3 PlayStation people, it appears.
Oh, now we're getting into a whole thing.
Yeah, we say no politics on this show, so I don't know why we're basing a whole show on video games and video game consoles, even though this is like our 20th one. But me personally, I am more on the PlayStation side. I play Xbox from time to time. I have friends who have it, and I play it with them. So that's why I think that my worst list, my best and worst for Xbox, and we'll get into that a little later, is going to be a little funny. Phil, I know you're just like everything.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm everything, but as our listeners will know, I was giving the Xbox the lead, but after some reviews last night, I gotta say I'm switching back to the PS5. Is gonna get my money before Microsoft does.
It's hilarious. You have like the ultimate Stockholm syndrome with both systems right now.
Yeah.
Look, we know this is going to end up with Phil living in the boxes of the systems.
Yeah.
He'll have all of them arrayed in front of him. He'll have the Atari wood grain.
Yeah.
I already do. It's in the closet.
And Tyler, how about you? You're more PlayStation, right?
I mean, look, it's not brand loyalty.
Yeah.
I look at that. I actually, it's going to come up later today when I go over the games. Is almost all the Microsoft exclusives, I can play them on my PC now.
Yeah.
And the PlayStation, I can't.
Yep. I think that's going to come up a little later. Matt, how about you? Which one would you lean towards?
So I guess I'm more PlayStation, but I don't have any strong preference. I like no brand loyalty, as Tyler said. I own a 360 PS4, so we've been using that. But I'm pretty non-committal when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yep, makes sense. All right, so before we might as well jump right into it. So that fourth voice, I actually had to do that. What am I drinking right now? That fourth voice that you hear, as mentioned, is Matthew Ederer. You may have come across the fact that I did mention that he is my other podcasting partner. We have another podcast that's currently on the It's Canon podcast channel. It's called NXT Talk. It's all about WWE, NXT, and some of the other guys. And we'll see how long that podcast is on that channel for. Hopefully it moves. Hopefully it moves. But we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. But that's sort of like the project that Matt and I have. But Matt, how about you tell our listeners, what Operation Sports is, how you got involved with them, and all that fun stuff so that they can, learn about the bastard brother of the It's Canon podcast family.
Absolutely. So my name is Matthew Ederer. I'm a writer, sort of moved to Toronto to pursue stand-up comedy, although it was, it's slow going. It's not the kind of thing that happens overnight. So now with this pandemic, I've been trying to look for new ways to kind of get the voice out there and make some quote-unquote content. So I've been a fan of Operation Sports for a long time because they were kind of the place where you get the nerdy roster updates for video games. For years and years, the Operation Sports forums have been the best place to get the roster files. Oh, I'm looking for the 1995 and all kinds of different for various games throughout the history of time. NFL 2K5 specific, a ton of different roster files and variations. So I just by hanging out at Operation Sports, I seen that they were looking for a writer. So I applied and got hired, and then you just kind of go from there. And I've written more and more and more. And then when COVID happened, they were also looking for a new YouTube creator. So I started making some YouTube videos, and I'm kind of just, flying by the seat of my pants with it all. But I'm pretty versed in the retro gaming universe. So I don't know. It's working out. It's a very good fit, I feel like. And I'm a big fan of the website and have been for a long time, long before I started working for it. So,
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So you mentioned that you're a big retro game fan. If you were to pick one, I think I know the answer, but let's just go with it. If you were to pick one game, past generations, retro sports game, which one would it be?
really, really hard. Honestly, off the top of my head, it might be slightly off the board, but I'm going to have to say NBA Street 2. That game is an absolute untouchable classic. It's perfect. It's still playable and kind of is almost as fun, 85 to 90% as fun as it was in 2003. And the control scheme is genius. I love the dunk modifications with all four of the top PlayStation 2 controller control a different dunk, and every different combination of a turbo is a different dunk. It's just really good. It's very easy to play. And the look and the feel of it is just genius. I love that game. So yeah. I would think it's that. Maybe you can go with a number of wrestling games too, but I would say NBA Street Volume 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I used to play that a lot around that time, but on Dreamcast, I actually used to play a lot of the NFL 2K games before NFL and EA, got married and kind of screwed 2K Sports out of that. But I just love those games on Dreamcast. My main issue with today's sports is that it feels more like a simulator, especially the football games, the Madden games. They're just not fun anymore. It's too much thinking. I just want easy game, more on the arcade side as opposed to simulator.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm actually, the older I get, the more I go in the opposite direction. But that's just because I'm old and lonely and I have a lot of time on my hands for these sims. But no, that's completely valid. And hopefully NFL and 2K are going to produce something that's a little more arcade-ish, possibly even an NFL Street type game coming up here soon.
Exactly. Yeah, so in terms of, our second love being wrestling and wrestling, all things wrestling, what's your favorite wrestling game? I'm pretty sure I know that answer for sure, but what is it?
That's really tough too. It's probably No Mercy, but it might be I played so much of the Nintendo 64 game, but I actually think that it might be the PS2 Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Those two games are both fabulous.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where wrestling games like achieve their perfection. But if you put a gun to my head, I would have to say the N64. You'd have to. How could you not? I'm gonna say No Mercy.
Yep.
Or WrestleMania 2000, which is equally as good for different reasons. That's a whole other debate.
Exactly. So for me, it's No Mercy number 1, and then number 2 would probably have to be SmackDown for the original PlayStation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Also, good call.
I remember.
PS1 almost completely missed me. I played second PS1 in my child. It's a blind spot for me.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of Operation Sports, so you mentioned that you make a lot of their YouTube content. What type of things do you do for them? And, is there, what do you have coming up?
So at this point, I've almost exclusively made like top 5 videos, just like little bite-sized, like 5 to 10 minute little top 5, just kind of like more humorous than serious, nothing like really crazy. Although I am going to start branching out into more kind of like video essay-ish stuff.
Yeah.
My next video will be an impassioned plea for roster sharing in NHL games. Working title. I'm sure I can come up with something better. But so I don't know. Right now I've been focusing on just making top 5 videos just to kind of get the ball rolling, just to kind of get a feel for what I'm doing. And that's content that people always like. If you put anything, you get over 1,000 views, no matter what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. And, it's so controversial. Like, even today I know that we're going to have some fun with our lists as we talk about, the new generations. Phil, Tyler, do you guys have anything?
You know what? Out of those retro sports titles, I'm going to say FIFA Street.
Oh, yeah.
I had so much fun with that. Same idea as you're saying about the ease of control and just the competitiveness of like the 3-on-3 type thing in the street environment and being able to kick off the boards and all that and have it be like a game of hockey except with footy. I really enjoyed that. I know it was on the 360, wasn't that long ago, but I've always enjoyed every iteration, and even the fact that they have that incorporated into the newer versions of FIFA starting last year. It's kind of nice to be able to have 3-on-3, 4-on-4 enclosed soccer games. I just think it adds a whole new dimension to the game instead of having to combat 11v11 on a huge pitch.
Yeah.
In a video game format. But in wrestling, you got me, man. You got me.
Exactly. That's all right.
Yeah, you mentioned that SmackDown for the PS1, and that took me back, and suddenly I was like, oh, yeah. In a small town in Manitoba in the basement, we played that game.
Yep.
I can remember those loading scenes that were something.
Yeah,
Those
even their
loading scenes
entrances were
existed.
something. Yeah, that takes me back. That game came out, let me think, 2000. Damn, 20 years ago. Holy crap.
Oof.
Oh.
God, early 2002.
Yep, March 2000, I remember. It was right before March break when I was in grade 9.
Jeez.
Uh-oh, we're dating you now.
Yep.
Old.
Exactly.
Oh, man, my earliest memory, I'll say this, my earliest sports video game memory was on the Sega Master System. There used to be a FIFA game made by EA. It was either Master System or the Genesis. And I used to play it all the time with my good friend Brian Keane. And he eventually went on to be one of the designers at EA for FIFA.
There you go. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
So and we used to have
really
the Sega move, right? To always get a goal.
Yeah.
This is the Sega move.
You know what's one game that I really liked and I thought was kind of like one of those hidden gems for Super Nintendo, and that's Wayne Gretzky's hockey. It's, it's just that 3D-ness of it I really enjoyed, and there was just so many ways that you could score, like skating up to the center and just chucking it up. You can almost score 9 out of 10 times. You can score about 9 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times. So, yeah. It was
Is that
good.
the
Brick wall goal.
Yep.
There was you can get hot a la NBA Jam. I think that was like a midway game, eh? Same makers,
I don't
believe.
remember.
I'm not sure on that.
I don't remember who made it, but yeah, it came out. I remember for '93 when the Kings and Canadians were in the finals. Those are the two feature teams on the cover.
Was
Okay,
that
I might be confusing the Nintendo 64 version
Yeah,
because that was not 1993.
yeah. Crazy. Yeah. So it
Good
just always
times.
takes me back. And there's obviously like, for NES, like Tecmo Super Bowl. Those games were just like awesome. I can still play those now, to be honest. In terms of other sports, there's like Super Spike V-Ball for NES that I used to love playing. I remember when I was younger, I spent a bit of time in the hospital, and they had a Nintendo there, and because it was in the middle of summer, no one was around, so I basically had that entire Nintendo to myself. And there was a dodgeball game for NES that I used to love playing, and that game is actually on the Switch right now. So I'm just like, yeah, that game is so bad but so good all at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, dodgeball is a classic. You see that in the top NES game lists that clearly everyone reads on the internet.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna jump a little bit. We're gonna start talking about, before we go into our list. Let's talk a little bit about PlayStation 5 and Xbox One. So it's madness. We throughout. If you listen to us in the past, you've for sure heard us, bitch and moan about Xbox and kind of how they dropped the ball with Halo and continue to drop the ball with Halo. In terms of both systems, for the longest time, as soon as the pandemic hit, everyone was questioning how this release was going to work. And both Sony and Microsoft are really adamant, saying, don't worry, everything is good. We're going to have enough consoles for everyone. And then the pre-release started. And it still makes me laugh because we were recording an episode right here. And that's when the PlayStation pre-sale goes live. 12 hours, more hours before than it was supposed to, and they were gone within the hour. And we were recording as I'm trying to order my system, and and luckily I was able to actually get it through. But I did have a bit of a scare that I kind of mentioned to Phil and Tyler on our chat. So last week, I placed the order September 16th. So I wasn't even thinking about it. I assumed that, it would go through on my credit card at some point within the, in the next couple of days, past few days. But last week, I get this text from my bank saying, we've picked up a fraudulent claim. It's for this amount, which was 711 whatever, which is the exact amount of the PlayStation 5, by this vendor, Best Buy, which is where I pre-ordered the system. And I'm like, oh shit, what's going on now? So as soon as I get that text, I call my bank saying, what the fuck? I tell them to allow that transaction through. Then I call Best Buy, and my heart is like skipping a few beats at this point because I have no idea exactly what's going on. And luckily, though, everything was fine. They have the way that their system works is that every few hours it tries to get the finish the transaction, and after 5 business days, it'll cancel your order. So luckily, it all went through, and we're all good. But that would have been like the absolute biggest scare of my life if and disappointment of probably this month if I had lost my pre-order thanks to my bank.
Yikes. That's
Yep.
gotta be scary.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. But, and then both companies clearly have screwed up their pre-order windows. We're hearing different reports about how many numbers the stores are actually going to have on release day. And there's a bunch of process around release day. Typically we would be seeing lines outside the stores for midnight releases. We're in a pandemic world right now. That's not going to happen, So a lot of these stores are setting out communications on how things are going to actually work for any item that's in the store. So EB Games, a popular video game store here in Canada, essentially the way that they're going to handle everything is for pre-orders. you're going to get an email, and they're going to give you a time slot to come and claim your system. So that's for pre-orders. That's how it's going to happen. So it's going to happen throughout the day, maybe even more than, well, considering how many systems they have, they'll probably get through on day one, but, you might not be able to play at midnight. You might not be able to play at 9 a.m. You might have to wait until later on in the day. So that's how they're doing pre-orders for new systems. Essentially what they're doing is you have to sign up, and you're going to get like an exclusive link, and you're going to, best of luck trying to order, online on that day, because there is no in-store purchases for day one systems for both Xbox and Sony. So that's how they're gonna try to handle it. Phil, Tyler, you guys have gone to like mom and pop shops. Have you figured out, or has anyone told you how they're handling day one and pre-orders?
So, from my talking to my local mom and pop, they are getting no extras above their 4 pre-orders that they were given. So, like, they're like, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
It is ludicrous. They've set up a system where you can put your name in to a raffle, and you had to have already had it in by now. And then if you win, you have to buy a PS5 and at least one game.
Okay.
Their logic being, look, we don't want you just to go flip this.
Yeah.
And, we can't really stop you, but this is our interim. All the regulars at the store, everyone I know was very, it is what it is. We understand why you gotta do this. But four copies is bananas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. And my local mom and pa have 5.
Wow.
So they've done a raffle. They're getting 0 Xbox Ones or Xbox Series S or X or
Same
whatever the hell. 0 Microsoft product. So we are all left shit out of luck. And, I'm looking forward to walking into Walmart in January, picking one up and walking out with it. So I just really want all this pre-order hype and garbage to just go away.
Yeah.
It really is. There's no product that's compelling anyone to buy an Xbox on launch. And the amount of games that are releasing both concurrently for the previous generation and the new generation, which carry over to the new generation, do not necessitate a panic
Agreed.
to go out and get one or buy one for an exorbitant rate.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree.
Sony want my money. The scammer guy wants my money too, but the scammer guy can go to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
It's worth noting that since we started recording, the word got down from on high that EA is going to have 60 games on their EA Play Pass available tomorrow for Xbox.
Damn.
Oh, nice.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I already subscribed to that service, so I get them all already. So
Yeah, they're just confirming they're going to be on the Xbox One, or not Xbox One, Xbox X or Xbox S when it comes out. We have a better name for that.
Right? That bugs me. They need some kind of name for the package at least, right? Like, I don't know.
Xbox Series X.
Oh,
As soon as you
made
said
it
package, you know I
weird.
had to. You know I had to.
yeah, it's dickless. I mean, discless.
Oh man, yeah, no, this has been crazy. And then and I think my favorite part right now is kind of seeing just how pissed off people are getting, and understandably so. Like, I understand how angry people can be, especially gamers. Like, I've spent enough time in the online world to understand how the people can react, but some of the Sony reviews and some of the information coming from the Sony camp right now is kind of making me personally laugh. So, everyone knows that, their new SSDs, 825 gigs before, or something like that, before it gets the OS. After the OS, there's apparently going to be like 650 gigs available to you, which is pretty low. But the big kicker is that, you right now for, day one, you won't be able to connect an external drive. You won't be able to replace your drive because it uses that new technology. So people are just freaking out and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to cancel my pre-order." I'm like, "Yeah, you're not."
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, for you, is that a game changer? Like, is that, how does that make you feel, Phil? Like, finding this out way after, like, days before you're going to get your actual system.
It's a bit disappointing, but just like with the previous generation, they introduced that feature.
Yeah.
And hopefully they don't wait as long as they did on the PS4, because I think that was a little while. But there is a spare slot for an SSD, for an extra SSD, as long as you get the type of SSD that is needed for Sony, which all the computer stores are going to be like, works with PS5, right?
Well, that's
the
thing.
Selling their crap out of them.
Sony is being very careful because one of the things that they've really touted with their system is loading times, right? So they don't want you to go in and just buy any SSD. They want to make sure that the SSD that you put into the system is actually going to work. So apparently there's the casing, so the size of the actual SSD is specific for the PlayStation 5, and they want to make sure that you get the right one. So I bet you, they're not going to promote it, but I bet you certain in-market hard drives already work. It's just a matter of actually, doing it and finding it. Matt, how about you?
And it's the same. Sorry, it's the same with Xbox. They partnered with Seagate to make those expansion cards at $300 for a terabyte.
Yeah.
But here's the warning for everybody who's getting a 4K device. All right, like the PS5 or the Series X. When you get the download capability, so you fire up Forza Horizon 4. All right, when you fire that up, it's going to go, "Hey, we have a next gen update available for your game," and you're like, "Wow, cool." 125 gigabytes later. All right, so your internet is toast for the next day.
Yeah.
Just so you can play an old title, just so you can load the new textures. So, like, the real estate needed is scary. The bandwidth needed is scary. I wonder what's going to happen, and maybe we're lucky that it's going to be a trickle versus a full-on tsunami of online demand as we watch Cisco routers and backbones across the world melt down. Like it's a lot of data traffic that's going to be pushed.
Yeah, Matt, how does that make you feel? Like, as a possible consumer, let's make the assumption that you put your $700 down for a PlayStation 5, 700 Canadian, that is, and days before it gets sent to you, you find out that, a feature that, you may or may not want, like extended hard drive, even though I don't know how you're going to fill up your hard drive so fast, but some people might, and that's not going to be available day one. How does that make you feel as a consumer?
Well, I mean, just like in a nutshell, that situation obviously would upset somebody. Yeah. Although, yeah, like you said, I don't foresee like how many people are going to be really mad at this specific issue, because how do you fill a hard drive in one day? Although, Phil, that was a really good point and something I had never considered. But yeah, just like the amount of updating that games are going to take, you're going to be able to fill that very fast, actually. So you know what, Boris? Yeah, I would. That would be quite upsetting for me as well. I can see that.
Matt, if the internet has issues between Thursday and Sunday, I am sorry.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. This Skype call is completely destroying our internet. So best of luck, my friend, from Thursday to Sunday.
So for those of you who don't know or haven't figured it out, Matt and I live in the same house. I live in the basement. He lives above me on the main floor, right? Or above, that's like it doesn't matter. You live above me.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have really shitty third world internet down in our place sometimes. It's just gets really bad sometimes, as Phil can attest to when we try to record sometimes.
Yep. I can attest. I can confirm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
hey, I'll bring it up though again, riding on that point that I made. The people who really get screwed in this are the people who buy the Xbox Series S. Because not only are you getting a console that's underperforming, not only are you getting a console that's, supposedly a more attractive price point at $399, which you may think is the hook, but to actually expand the memory is almost the cost of the console. All right. So and the OS on it renders like the you only get, I forget the exact number, I quoted it in our chat and I didn't check it, but it's only 200 or 300 gigabytes available after the OS.
That's a
So,
game or two.
Eesh.
Yeah.
Now,
earlier-
admittedly, you'll be using the S graphic load. So the Xbox Series S or Xbox S that's out right now, the Slim, will be using that same codec of graphics.
Right.
As long as the developer chooses to do that.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing.
That's
now
the
you're-
other rider.
See, here's the thing. Now you're asking a developer, and this is one of the, I don't want to get too much into this because we harp on this so much, and that's Cyberpunk 2077, and it's the fact that they are going to release on every system under the sun without prioritization. They've kind of got themselves in this little hole where, because they're trying to make a working, perfect game for every possible system, I have a feeling that we're going to be in delay hell now, because you're now asking developers to, if you're developing for Microsoft, to essentially work on 3 or 4 different platforms.
Yep. They said it's the equivalent of 9, I think.
Yeah.
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 So it's PS4, PS5, PC, the 3 Xboxes. Are they going live on Linux at the same time? Could be.
No, they're going on PC though, which is probably the most variable environment.
True.
But and that's the counterpoint that everyone's bringing up. You modify the crap out of PC release, and you're just categorizing it as one thing, and you've been doing it for years. So there's a little bit of confusion about that. But you're seeing Ubisoft basically push 2 titles already into first quarter, second quarter next year,
Yeah.
right?
Far Cry,
With
yeah.
with their stuff. So I think it's going to be a common thing, like with a pandemic and asterisk 9 different systems.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like the ask that that's coming from Sony and Microsoft at this point is pretty heavy. So, the other complaint that I've been seeing a lot on the Reddit and the Facebook is and even YouTube is the fact that I completely lost where I was going with this.
Well,
God
because
damn it.
you tried to not say the YouTube.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yup. Yup.
God damn it.
I mean,
You just reference places I don't look. So
yeah, I'm gonna bring up another thing while Boris gets his mind back on it. Speaking of audiences and customers being peeved, again, I'm the person who kind of has my half of eye on upcoming news as we're recording. And guess what's trending on Twitter right now? Canada Post, because of delays for the PS5 and Xbox X and S deliveries.
I know I've said this before, and this generation is probably a little bit better because it's solid state drives, but there's no bloody way as a customer that I want the Purelator person, the FedEx people, the UPS people, or Canada Post delivering my $700 system. Call me crazy. I've seen boxes come to me and they're damaged, and we've got optical drives and stuff like that in there, and belts, and there are moving parts. There are sensitive areas. There are adhesive areas. There are all of these things, liquid metal covers on processors, all this crap. I do not trust that it's going to land on my door. That's why I like going in the store and picking it up, because it gets shipped on a pallet.
Oh yeah, that's for sure crossed my mind. That's for sure crossed my mind. But at the end of the day, if something's wrong with the system, that bitch is going back.
Yeah, it's Sony and Xbox and Microsoft are going to really have to manage this now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the other side being, regardless, don't issue death threats to your local Canada Post worker.
No. Oh, gosh.
Because we're already seeing that. Like, come on, they're doing their best.
Yeah, lay off Canada Post. Like,
Or
my
UPS
concern and my anxiety is mine, and maybe you share it, maybe you don't, but that by no means gives you any right to be angry at those poor people, those people who deliver it and do their job.
Well,
all
and
right,
the other
99% of them are great people who are very diligent at delivering your package. So don't worry that much about it. But man, there's no excuse for that.
Well, I mean, I think your anxiety is reasonable and can coexist with people being generally good, right? Like UPS workers and FedEx workers are reporting that they have to make bananas deliveries now, and that's why you're seeing a lot of like, oh, we just left it in your apartment building lobby or whatever, because like they are so slammed, and if they don't hit their deliveries, they get in trouble.
Yeah, that's why, like, in all reality, I get any package I get delivered to my parents' place because, Matt, I don't know if you've noticed sometimes things that come to our house is like broken by the time that it gets there, and it could be it's not necessarily the person who delivers it, but it's just we live downtown Toronto. Shit's gonna happen. People are gonna kick the box. Like where they would deliver it, the front door is like right on the sidewalk. So there's just so many things that can happen if you're not there. But yeah, that's why I always get anything of somewhat importance sent to my parents' place in Mississauga. For me, it's just a much easier and more attractive option, especially when I've spent $712 on something.
That actually reminds me, I have a couple polos and a mug coming in for work. I need to make sure that those actually make it to me.
Yep.
But it makes you really think about the brilliance in EB strategy. Sure, you might not be able to play this system as early as you want, but you're going to the store to pick it up off of a palleted delivery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they are. I kind of like that distribution method. I like the safety of it. Let's all be safe.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We've talked a little bit. And is there anything else you guys want to talk about this generation before we take a step back and get into fights?
It's a hell of a generation, right? 7 years.
That's
it's a big
the thing.
cycle.
November 2013, we saw the release of Microsoft's Xbox One and Sony's PlayStation 4. And it's 7 years ago. Remember the time, guys, when you can actually go to a store and have someone breathe on your neck uncomfortably as you breathe on someone else's neck uncomfortably and didn't think twice about it? And that's what a lot
going to.
Yeah, this sounds like a very different experience, Boris. Maybe don't share this publicly, or you need to talk to someone in either law enforcement or your local mental health help.
Oh dear God.
It sounds like you're not
I
going
wouldn't
to
want someone's breath on the back of my neck after they ate a tuna sandwich or something. Like, what the hell?
Boris is patient zero for COVID, apparently. Just got people spitting in his mouth.
Hey,
God.
I was in Las Vegas in January, and I did get deathly ill when I got back, so I don't know.
Oh, so this is all Boris's fault. Okay.
You're not the first person to say that to me today. Anyways.
Oh, wow. Now I feel like a racist. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. 2013. Feels like so long ago. I remember Phil and you and I were talking leading up. I was an idiot and I didn't do an actual pre-order. So you were just happy. You were like, oh, I'll go to the store whenever at midnight or whatever time you did. And you had your system there, and like leading up to the actual release of PlayStation 4, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? So what I ended up doing was I actually bought one off Amazon the night before the release. So on that Thursday night, and everything worked out. But I'm like, I have an ace up my sleeve. I noticed that the Walmart near me was opening at 7 a.m. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go at 7:30, and whatever happens, happens. Walk right in, no lineup. They had a bunch of PlayStation 4s right there. So I just picked that up, picked up Call of Duty Ghosts, picked up FIFA, picked up a new controller, and all of that cost me $630.
Yep.
And here we are. But the point I'm trying to make is just like it was such a different release compared to this, and there's a lot of reasons why things are so different. But yeah, it's crazy to see where we are 7 years ago and where we are now. So what I really wanted to do is have a retrospective on the last generation, and I figured the best way to do that is to give our best and worst picks of the past generation. So we are going to go through Xbox One, we're going to go through PlayStation 4, and our picks are our picks. These are picks. These are games that we played. You know, we didn't play every system. We didn't play every game. You know, some of us may specialize in sports. Some of us may specialize in something else. So for me, it's just fun to kind of see what kind of we all play and have this discussion, make fun of each other's picks. And I think we're going to start with the worst of Xbox One.
Xbox, whichever one just did.
One of them. Xbox One.
The Xbox.
Xbox One. There's an Xbox One S. There's an Xbox One X. But Xbox One, the X-Bone, is the original.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to start off with the worst of X-Bone. Matt, you mentioned that you were focusing your picks on the sports because that's why you're on this damn show today. So we're going to start with the worst. We're going to do a quick round table. Matt, what's number 5 for you?
Okay, so I just looking at this, I think all of these games hit both Xbone and PS. I just did for the generation. Sorry, I didn't make one for each. But number 5, possibly a little controversial, but I was just so disappointed in it. I just hate it with all my heart. UFC 4, the most recent UFC game. God, it sucks. God, I despise it with every ounce of my being. It's a UFC game that is attempting to be just like a social media. I don't know. It just I can't even. I'm almost struggling to begin to describe my hatred for this game.
Xbox 4. I haven't played one since the original, like 10 years ago or whenever that was.
Right. Yeah. The I think it's UFC Undisputed 3, the one that came out in like 2009 or 2010. The last one that THQ did is a fabulous game. And game. It's brand new. Don't ever play it if you haven't.
All right, there you go. Tyler, did you make a list for Xbox?
I did. I'm just going to remind the listeners in case they've missed since we last talked about it. I have played barely anything from the Xbox One. However, I realized that I played a bunch of games on my PC with an Xbox One controller. So I'm going to count those. And my number 5 for worst is Far Cry 5.
Ooh.
I played 3, 2, 1, Primal, and 4. And god damn it, this is such a bad game. It's
Thank you for saving me my $12.
It feels. I mean, yeah, I did not pay a very good price for it, but it is just. I think the worst part of it is this game reminds me of. For the listeners who've had a dog, when your dog like does something like it shits on the carpet and it makes eye contact with you, and and you're both like. It's like, yeah, you don't want me to do this. And you're like, I don't. And it's like, here we are.
Wow. There you go.
I mean, it makes a joke. It makes a joke about Ubisoft collectathons. And it's like, yeah, but anyway, here's another Ubisoft collectathon.
Oh, Lord.
I have a friend who absolutely loved that game.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry your friend has brain damage.
That's my conclusion. I know he won't listen, so hey.
I mean, I will say, like, the story does its best.
And on that note, okay. Phil, number 5 for you.
I am going with a perennial, a favorite target of every fan base, and we are about to enter into that area, and that is launch title games that suck for the new console. My pick is Rise.
Rise.
Which was a Roman Empire game where it was just basically smash X now. Smash Y now.
Yeah, you've told me about that one.
What's that?
You've told me about that one in the past.
Yeah, it's available on Game Pass. You can go and basically some people love it. I want to pull my eyeballs out and go, yeah, this is just button mashing in a story. So it looked pretty, though, as do all launch titles. So.
Right. So, my number 5 pick for the worst game of Xbox Series, or Xbox One, oh my god, Xbox One. X-Bone. And here's the thing, I knew this game was bad going into it, I saw how bad it was, but I needed to play it, and that is Toro. It is a game where you are a bullfighter.
God.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, that got the green light, guys. Look it up.
I mean, yeah, look.
It's
anything gets
it's
the
on
green
Game
light.
Pass. It's on Game Pass.
Oh my god.
Toro.
I have to look this one up. I gotta get it.
I knew we were
Not
gonna
on
have fun
PC.
with this. All right.
Do you recall how much you paid or one would have to pay to play this Toro game?
I think this person paid $10 for the game at the store that used to be open on Dufferin and Bloor there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Ugh.
god. It is $2.99 now.
Ooh.
That's,
You can get
that's
it.
too expensive.
That's fine.
They should pay us $2.99 to play it.
Wait, even the cover art is bad.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It looks like the movement of the characters just does not look natural at all.
Reco Technology SI.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's pick
Yatch.
number 5. Pick number 4. Matt.
So here I'm going with NBA Live 14. So the NBA Live series has kind of always been like the bastard, stepchild to the 2K franchise. It's just always been inferior. And they took so in 2010 they just gave up on NBA Live up for a year. Came back in 2014 with far worse edition than 2010. Somehow it was worse. Like it was pretty much the only thing that saved it was graphics and presentation. The gameplay was terrible. It was just reviled, rightfully so, and it pretty much has ruined the NBA Live franchise to this day because the games are slowly getting better. They're slowly scrapping back to like respectability, but nobody plays them anymore.
Yeah.
And I think this was like the turning point where it sewered the franchise forever. NBA Live 14.
I completely forgot that was a thing, that NBA Live was still a thing. I thought everyone just automatically just bought 2K now.
Actually, I think NBA Live has recently given back up, like within the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Playability is kind of important in sports.
I would say, yes, sir.
Phil, number 4, worst Xbox One game.
I'm gonna follow Tyler's lead here and go with a Far Cry game that I absolutely hated from start to never finishing it, and that was Far Cry Primal.
Oh, that one's not
Oh,
great.
that one's bad.
A drunken purchase that I regretted
Look,
almost immediately.
no, Phil, here's how you enjoy that game. So you start drinking, then you buy it. Do not stop drinking. Now you're dead, and we bury you.
Sounds
I
like
don't know, something about the caveman experience, and I just have these sordid memories of trying it a couple times and being like, "What was I thinking? This is
Wow.
terrible."
It's such a weird game. Who greenlit it?
Yep.
Yeah, like you can't talk in it. There's no communication. It's just like we're gonna get the caveman experience.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
linguistics.
except later you get like animal control, and you can like warg into animals, and you're like, wait, what?
Amazing.
Like cavemen.
Yeah, cavemen. I mean, look, we're gonna eventually get to talking about how Ubisoft is now they're not actually running multiple IPs. They just run one IP. It's all one property right and just whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Tyler, number 4.
Oh, this is gonna be a spicy take. Grand Theft Auto 5.
That's not a spicy
Whoa!
take at
I
all.
played
Wow.
I played the entire single player, and I tried to play online, and I did not enjoy any of it. And I only finished it for a paid review, and it was just like, oh, cool. So it's like almost no improvement over 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's more Grand Theft Auto writing, which is acceptable.
Yeah.
Even at its worst, it's not the worst thing ever. But the game itself wasn't fun to play. And honestly, I've been having that problem with a lot of Rockstar stuff recently of like, oh yeah, this is technologically impressive, but I don't want to spend time there.
Right.
Yeah, because they try to do too much. You can drive, you can do this, you can do that, and they don't do any of it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if I go do yoga for 3 hours for no reason?
I did have a lot of fun in that game. I can understand your experience, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
My number 4 pick for worst Xbox One game is Halo 5 Guardians.
I don't disagree.
I mean, that would have been number 6 on my list.
All right, good. I love the pause because it's like, how are they going to react?
Oh, no.
I have
No
nothing
one-
else
No,
to say about this game.
That game was poo poo.
I have
Sorry.
nothing else to say about that game. All right,
343 ruined Halo.
Matt, fun fact, 343 Ruins Halo is the number 3 search that people do to jump into our website.
Nice.
So we got to mention it every couple episodes. Just keep those metrics up.
Exactly.
Also, be
Also,
the first portal. Jump
number
now.
15 or 16 was something about Joe Rogan, so go figure.
I swear
Gross.
to God.
Barbie Girls was number 10, so go
Yeah.
figure.
Yeah.
Just before we move any further, Tyler, I think Grand Theft Auto is like the second or third highest selling game like of all time.
I am well aware.
Just throwing it out there. Just
Yeah,
throwing it
sure.
out there.
I mean, you know what else? Freaking
No,
Lolita is considered a classic. Just because people think things
Hey,
are
man.
good
Yeah,
doesn't mean they're right.
look at the president the last 4 years. Without
right,
going too far. Success does not necessarily mean something is good. I do agree.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless. This is going exactly where I wanted it to. All right, number 3 worst Xbox One game, Matt.
All right. So it might be early for this on the list, even, but I'm going WWE 2K20. I think it did improve itself through massive, constant patching to become playable. But it took a long time. It took a long time to
That
get
day
there.
1 release. By God.
Just the fact that like you could find a better story mode in terms of graphics and presentation on the PS2 easily.
Yeah.
It was just it was a laughable game for a long time. But if you picked it up and played it now, having not played WWE for like whatever, even just X months, but like I hadn't played a next gen wrestling game until 2K20 was on sale for like $8, and I grabbed it and actually had a lot of fun with it because it was like 8 months after it come out.
Yeah.
But no, even then you can see how and why the game was hated. It was it was a truly abysmal effort
It really
from
was.
2K.
It really, really was. Phil, number 3 worst game for Xbox One.
Oh, this one might be a little bit of a lead balloon for some. Oh, actually, no, it's not. I had a tough time with this one, but I'm going to go with Fallout 76
It's on my list too. Don't worry about it.
because the game just fucking didn't work.
Look, you know how you
There's-
take
There's been a ton of patching and it still doesn't work.
it doesn't work. When it works, it's not fun.
Just a brutal, brutal title. And the reason why I hate Bethesda software sometimes. So, like, go back and do it right and make sure the game more functions. Like, everything about that game was just a giant, punch in the anus.
Wasn't
I
that
mean, look,
It was,
that the Fallout
like,
game that was
plastic
bricking people's systems?
It was breaking. You've got plastic rum bottles that were promised to people to be authentic replicas of what you'd find in game. Like everything
Canvas
around the
bags.
launch of this, like in the merchandising, everything was just garbage. It was absolutely half-assed on almost every front, as Fallout does. Remember the Pip Boys and oh my gosh, all that stuff. So I'm just putting them on there out of vengeance.
Tyler, number 3.
So this one's digging a little bit more, and this is going to be like this is my hill to die upon. But State of Decay 2. So like I don't know if anyone saw this, but State of Decay was like it was kind of like a we made this on $20 in a prayer, and it was a decent game. The whole pitch was like you're doing a zombie apocalypse and you survive and you have to run your little community and you have to recruit people and anyone in your community is playable, and it was perfectly acceptable. Like, it wasn't great, but it was like, oh, this is a cool kind of proof of concept. And then they were like, it did well. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna make State of Decay 2. It's gonna have co-op. It's gonna be amazing and bigger and better. It's gonna have all this stuff, and it is just like, it's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not interesting. The first one had a storyline, and this one's just like, I don't know, see how long you can survive. Fuck you. What do you want? And it was just like, oh, cool. So you literally have not improved the first game. Like, the first game is just better.
Right. All right.
Oh man, the nerd anger.
Number 3. This one is a hot take. Phil,
Yeah?
I'm going to let you finish that drink before I say it. Anyone else
Okay.
drinking
Let's
anything?
spit take.
Don't drink anything right now, guys.
I gotta get some water so I can spit take.
Because this actually shows up on 2 of my lists. It's the worst game. Number 3 worst game on Xbox One for me. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
I hated everything about, and I just recently played this game. It's horrible. I would rather play Red Dead Revolver that came out for the Dreamcast 20 years ago than these games.
I think Revolver's out for the 360 as well.
It is.
Yeah, because I've played that.
Yeah.
I don't stand in your way on that, because that game was like really replicated being in the Old West, except without the beans and the farts. Like, there was nothing to do except sit around campfires.
Well, the worst part, you know what? I'll talk about this a little later. So that's my pick. We are on to number 2 worst Xbox One game for Matt.
Before we go too much further, I do think if I had to choose between Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto, I think I choose Red Dead. I think I like Red Dead 2 more than Grand Theft Auto 5. Just personally throwing it out there for no reason to no one.
I can get behind anyone who loves it too. God love you if you love it. So
I
or
don't
if you
get
enjoy
you.
it.
I would never talk to you much, but I accept it.
Okay, so yeah, I did a YouTube video of this exact topic, and I switched my order here because I realized that the thing I originally had at number 3 should be number 1. So my original number 1 on the YouTube video, which I'm now putting at number 2, Tony Hawk 5. Have you guys ever played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5?
That game is frustrating as fuck.
Do not. It's just terrible. Just picture everything that you loved about Tony Hawk and then just throw it in a sack and beat it with a skateboard for 20 minutes and then just like I don't know, give somebody 20 cents every 5 days. I don't know how to replicate the microtransaction part of it, but it's just a terrible, soulless game. And the fact that we've seen, spoiler alert, a better Tony Hawk game coming up in the future, it just, you have to ruin a beautiful and amazing product. I just, perhaps it's pure spite, but I detest Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. Do not play it if you haven't.
Yeah, that game was literally announced like a week before it came out. So like there were like delays and all this and that, and it was just a horrible, horrible game that looked worse than the original Tony Hawk's for PlayStation. No number, just PlayStation. All right, Phil, number 2.
Number 2, oh boy, this one might come across because this one lands on another place for me too, but I'm just going to say it on, since we're going to the crap list first. Halo Master Chief Collection. Sorry, but the game didn't work. So that, I know they fixed it since, but I was so upset that the game didn't work on release and they had to keep on promising us stuff that was on a protracted 6-month scale. And there was the Halo app that you could watch a show on. That was like, there's all these extras around it just to distract us from the fact that none of the multiplayer worked. None of the stuff that they said was going to work worked. It did not replicate the experience of the original Bungie Halo games.
We're going to have a discussion in a little bit. So we'll put a pin on that one.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin on that one. Tyler, number 2.
South Park Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
Like, so the first one at least tried to say something and tried to do something interesting. And it didn't work. It was bad. It was other words for bad.
I just love that you said fractured butthole.
Yeah, there we go. Giving that one for you, Phil.
The first game is like genius, but I agree. The second one missed the mark pretty severely, in my opinion, as well. But yeah, I think the first game is like it's perfect for what it is. The first one.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, you know, we can go about South Park and its phenomenon of two golden ages and then periods of not great between them, and it seems to be how they do.
Yep. Yep. All right. My number 2 pick is one that has already been mentioned, and that's WWE 2K20. It's really bad, guys. It's really, really bad. For that to show up on 2 wrestling fans' worst lists, imagine that.
I remember the controversy around that. I remember a lot of online videos on the YouTube, and yeah, there was a lot of people really angry about that game. So
Yep.
I'm not shocked.
All right, guys, this is it. This is my favorite part. The number 1 worst game for Xbox One, Matt.
All right, so like I said, I originally did this list on the YouTube, and I'm reneging on it hard. I regret my order because the worst game for this generation in terms of sports games, easily NHL 15. It is the exact example of what not to do when taking a game and porting it to the next generation. They removed so much from that game that they didn't even include the 3 stars, which has been in hockey since the 1920s. They just they removed. You couldn't get drafted and be a pro mode. You couldn't control like certain aspects of franchise mode. You name it, they removed it. There was jerseys missing. It was just Though the gameplay was all right, they certainly had tweaked it and have greatly improved it in the intervening. Actually, greatly strong. They have slightly improved it in the intervening 6 years. But in terms of what they took away from it. Just a horrible example of gutting a game in order to rush it to the next generation.
Damn. Yeah, I agree with that. I remember that one. Phil, your number 1 worst game for Xbox One.
Now, I'm going to preface this with, I don't think it's the worst game for everybody. It's the worst game for me.
Exactly.
All right. Crackdown 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just so mad because that was the only title that Microsoft actually released as an exclusive. And they said it was a AAA title and it was just garbage out the chute. Crackdown 1 was fun and different. Crackdown 2 was repetitive and dumb. Crackdown 3 was how a console dies.
Oh, man, I love it.
It's the context to how Microsoft marketed it that really ruined it for me.
Yeah.
If they would have just let it be a dumb, stupid B-class fun game, then fine. But the fact that they tried to sell it as a AAA, kids cried all over the world.
Tyler, your worst game for Xbox One.
Coming for you, Phil. It's Fallout 76. You know how you take a classically single-player experience, renowned for, even when it's bad, that's what it did. And you look at that and you're like, you know what? We had a surprisingly successful app for iPhone and Android where you could do just like run your little vault and do your little experiments. You know what we do next? We do an MMO. That's what our fan base is clamoring for, right? Not the fact that they keep saying that Fallout New Vegas was one of the best things we've made in years. Fuck them. Ignore all the criticisms before. Lean in even harder. Ignore all of the customer base that wants a good story, and just I don't know. Let's just take that IP and let's just drill, baby, drill.
Yeah,
I love when your voice gets slower and everything takes longer for you to say.
That was a fart in the fans' faces.
It was I don't know. It's Jesus Christ. Executives should have lost their jobs over that. Like someone should have lost their job and never been let back into gaming. Like, they should have to be an accountant now.
Maybe Microsoft got an extra $1 billion off of buying them for that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We got a
Um,
deal, 7.2, baby. Woo, woo, woo.
There's I'm gonna give away that we're recording this episode before our news episode, and there's an interesting news tidbit about how much Square Enix lost because of the Avengers that we're gonna talk about in a little bit.
Bad
Anyways,
news. I'm already bringing that up in my worst of for PS4. I already got that locked and loaded.
all right, my worst game for Xbox One was Star Wars Battlefront 1.
Oof.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Just that game was horrible. So much hype. So much I just remember not going to university classes because I was playing Battlefront on PlayStation 2. So when they announced that it was coming back, I was just so excited. Next generation. It's been 10 years since the last game. It was just disappointing. It just didn't feel any good. And the microtransactions just microtransaction me out of the entire game. It was just not good.
Yeah. I think I put the disc in, saw the graphics, put the disc back, never played it again.
You know what the worst part is for that game? I'm not one to buy collector's editions and bullshit like that. The one time I pre-order a game, and it's funny because it's literally 5 years ago, almost to the date when this game came out now. The one time that I actually pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, it's for this fucking game. And fuck you, EA.
Yeah, but that Stormtrooper sure did look good.
Yeah, it did. Anyways, so those are our picks for the worst. Now we're gonna have maybe a little more fun as we discuss the best of Xbox One. All right, we're gonna start number 5, Matt.
Alrighty, so again, sorry guys, I completely fucking threw off the vibe of the list by going generation. So a couple of my games do not appear on the actual Xbox One, unfortunately. But this one, NBA 2K9, I think this was a return to form for the 2K series. It introduced such fun things as Haley Joel Osment in the career mode, which was unnecessary and a cameo nobody asked for. But yeah, they also paid some attention to franchise mode for the first time in a long time, and it led to some key additions that are being built upon on the upcoming PS5 and Xbox Series X version, which is the only thing on earth that could get me to buy a PS5 before 2023. So 2K19 led the groundwork for 2K, which is it's becoming one of the best sports games out there for sure.
Interesting. Let's remember that when we go through other lists. All right, Phil. Top best Xbox One, number 5.
Number 5. This is a weird order for me, but Borderlands 3. Big fan of that. Ironically, 2K as well. But I just really like that IP. I really enjoyed getting back into Borderlands. Borderlands 3 was probably one of my most played games last year.
I will jump in, and I will say that is also my number 5 pick for best Xbox One game, Borderlands 3.
Yeah, and this is what I was explaining, and I'll say it for the listeners. I don't actually own this for the Xbox, but Borderlands being on both platforms and the fact that my list for PS5 or PS4, I tried to keep more Sony stuff so people can play it on either. I recommend the title. So
Yep, same here. It's a great game, fun game. Again, just played it locally with buddies, but it was a lot of fun. Tyler, number 5, best game, Xbox One.
Control.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A bit later, it was a third-person weird shooter horror action thing, and I don't know, it got me all in the right places. It's my kind of horror, so I was just all over it.
Horror.
Yeah, horror. Is my accent coming out?
Yeah, when you said it into the mic, the or didn't come out, so it's your type of horror.
Yeah, look, my accent comes and goes. Yeah, no, it's really fun.
Yeah.
And architectural madness is underutilized in games, and
Mhm.
and so often you end up with the, oh, this door no longer leads where it used to. Whoa! Whereas Control actually makes you like, oh shit, what is happening here?
Yeah. I will say one thing, and I didn't put this on the list just because we didn't get the full game, and architectural, puzzles and all this and that is the Silent Hill playable trailer.
Oh yeah, PT.
Yep. I wish that was a thing. Anyways, we are done. Number 5. Number 4, best Xbox One game, Matt.
All right. Again, I don't think I'm not sure. I'm 90% sure it's not on the Xbox One. I think it's just PS4 and PC. But I'm going with Fire Pro Wrestling World.
That is on Xbox.
It took me a long time. It is on Xbox?
Yep.
Beautiful. Yep. Fire Pro Wrestling World. Fabulous game. Now, Fire Pro is like an acquired taste, even for wrestling fans. Like,
Yeah.
I have bought Fire Pro games and tried to play them and failed in the past for PS2. I forget which one that is. I think it's Returns on PS2.
Yeah, it is
anyway,
Returns, yeah.
If you actually, it is Returns, eh? Yeah. If you take the time, if you give this the time, and if it clicks in your brain, you'll never play another wrestling game. I don't miss WWE 2K20. Just the customization, the amount of things you can do, the amount of wrestlers you can download immediately and have 8-on-8 tag team matches with, or 4-on-4 tag team matches with. This is for a hardcore wrestling fan. This is a must own. There's a steep learning curve though.
Yep.
It is worth your time, but it does require patience.
Yep. It's such a fun game. I was debating on putting this on my top PlayStation games, but it for sure made an honorable mention. So that's a great pick. All right, number 4, Phil.
Jedi Fallen Order. I'm going to give some love to EA. Actually, I had a game that I enjoyed. I didn't necessarily enjoy all the story kicks, but I did enjoy the gameplay. I kind of have a problem with the map system, but overall, it was just nice to play in the Star Wars world.
Yep. Tyler made fun of us, calling us old because we couldn't read the 3D map.
No,
Yeah.
I said I feel like we're all old.
Yeah.
No, I got it. I
decrepit.
called you old.
Anywho, no, that's a fun game. Again, we're not going to get into it today, but yeah, that's a great pick. Tyler, number 4.
4 for me was Ukulele. This was, I think it was originally on Kickstarter, but it's a bunch of the people who used to work at Rareware back in the day. And basically, they went out there and said, screw you, I'm going to make my own Banjo-Kazooie, but with hookers and cocaine. So they included a bunch of jokes
Amazing.
that that Rareware back in the day was like, you can't do that. They have a detective snake whose name is Trouser.
Oh, God.
Gosh.
What more do you want? Are you not entertained?
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, it's that old style of like 3D platformer that, like, what else exists for that now other than Mario?
Yeah.
And it leans hard back in like those old design aesthetics where it like purposely loads and unloads different areas as different maps, so you can have buildings bigger on the inside than the outside. And man, it feels like old Banjo-Kazooie in all the best ways, and feels like it's learned the right lessons from new tech.
Yeah.
Nice.
All
Trouser
right.
snake.
Trouser snake. I got to play this.
Yeah,
game.
right.
All right, so number 4 for me is Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing else to say. Good game. Fun game. Number 3.
So fast.
Yeah. Number 3, Matt.
All right, very good. So this one straight up is the list breaker, and I do apologize, but Out of the Park Baseball 21, which is the text-based baseball sim similar to Football Manager. This is the best. It's better than Football Manager, though I think Football Manager is more beloved, has more fans. This is the best text-based sports game there is out there. You can start a baseball season. All the stats up to that exact day are accurate. You can set up a league of fantasy with completely made up teams where there's relegation and 10 different stages. You can do anything you want in this game. It's absolutely incredible. The only thing you can't do is swing the bat yourself, but you can even watch a pretty decent little, like, let's say 16-bit baseball-ish experience. It's not great, but it kind of looks like you're watching a Super Nintendo baseball game. It's workmanlike in its presentation. And I think, yeah, if you're a fan of text-based Sims, this is the one. This is the best one on the market by far.
That's very
Nice.
cool. Number 3, Phil.
I'm gonna go with the Division series, both 1 and 2.
Nice.
I just like them both. You can pick up either or, and it's Ubisoft again, and well, not again, but I'm giving them some love. And I spent ridiculous amounts of time in co-op on that with my friends,
Yeah, you
and
did.
actually explored PvP and stuff like that. So it really got me to play types of gaming that I don't typically play.
Yeah, you played that for a while
Nice.
too with your buddies.
I played that for years.
Yeah.
Years.
Tyler, number 3.
Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
No, it's phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
I have not, and I don't love first-person shooters usually. They're not my cup of tea.
Same.
I'll usually try them out to be like, all right, what are they doing interesting and new in this one? But the gameplay loop of Doom Eternal is so good. Like, it's so tight, and you're always like, I don't know, it's like ballet in all the best ways, filled with like cutting a demon in half. I don't know. It's so good.
Yep.
I
get
actually
it.
debated on that one for a little bit for being a top list.
Yeah. It's just fun.
All right. My number 3 pick is Devil May Cry 5.
Huh.
I just like
All
those
right.
games. They're fun
Are
games.
you? Yes, you like that? Do you do the whole like replay to get like S tier on
Yes.
those?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Again, Dreamcast. Shout
Yeah.
out to Dreamcast on
Oh, yeah.
starting that series. All right, we are up to number 2. Matt.
By far the most recent one, possibly recency bias. Don't care. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. God damn it, I love this game. This is the gold standard for remakes. This is what a remake should be. It's exactly everything that the first 2 games offered, improved upon with a little bit more. There's nothing I could possibly say wrong about these games. I wish there was a little more to it. But that's not the fault of Tony Hawk 1 and 2. They added more to it already.
Yeah.
They're doing what they can. I would pay money to see Tony Hawk 3 get remastered in the same way. I don't know. But yeah, these games are incredible. If you like Tony Hawk at all, they have restored the soul of the franchise, and I suggest you play them.
Yep.
Nice.
Phil, number 2.
Number 2, Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah. It's a good
Ours
one.
go fast.
It's a really good one. Tyler.
Vroom vroom.
Tyler,
Them
number
blue
2.
spark spikes. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is an artsy British one where you play a Celtic lady who has to delve into Viking underworlds to put your lover to rest, and you are like the character you're playing is not a reliable narrator, and the game itself is not a reliable narrator without going into too much more specifics than
Yeah.
that. But it is phenomenally good, and you need to play it with headphones. Do
Right.
not play it with non-headphones.
There are some games
Nice.
that just are so much better with headphones. A game that I'm going to talk about on my best PS4, it was so much better with headphones.
Wait, Boris, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is
But-
Gears 5.
Is what?
Gears 5.
Gears 5. Oh, I missed the Gears. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
a fun game.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
Chainsaw Gun.
I had a lot of
Let's
fun.
go.
It's just, you know what? I just for Xbox, because I don't own the system, like I borrowed my buddy's system from time to time. I tend to just enjoy games that I can like play quickly, boom, 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 have fun, call it a day, return that shit, and go back to my PS.
Legit.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, top of the list, your number 1 pick for best game Xbox One, Matt.
Yes, this is just an open middle finger to Microsoft truthers, but the best sports game of the generation is whatever the most recent MLB The Show game is. Period. That's the best sport. The best sports game of the generation is MLB The Show 20 for PS.
Yeah.
That is the best sports game of the generation. These games, no sports game approaches the sport it is trying. MLB The Show. Also, it has the best ultimate team mode by far in all of these sports games. I think it's my personal favorite career mode, although I would say probably people would say NBA 2K's is the best, quote unquote. I think baseball's is the best. And you can upload your own songs.
Yeah.
You can upload your own soundtrack. You can upload 1,000 custom songs and have every MLB batter walk out to their own custom song.
Yep.
No other game lets you do that anymore.
Yep.
It's by far the best sports game of the generation. Nothing is really even close to it. It's satisfying in a way that other sports games.
Yep.
It's baseball.
It's really good. It's honestly really.
But the
really
game is
good.
still great.
It's a fun game. It's a fun game. That was an honorable mention for me for top PS games. All right, Phil, top Xbox One game.
Nobody's drinking, right?
No.
Okay. This one might anger some people, but I'm going to take my worst, my number 2, and make it my number 1 for Xbox. And that's Halo Master Chief Collection, because they fixed it.
I knew you were going to do that.
ODST, and they gave me Halo Reach.
I knew.
So the fact that they gave me all the old Bungie stuff, and it kind of worked the same way, I was really happy to have
I knew
enhanced
you were going to do this. I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Well, there's no shortage of controversy.
And there's no parameters that we put on our lists.
Exactly.
All right, Tyler, number 1 Xbox One game.
Outer Worlds, also known as what Fallout 76 should have been.
Yeah.
Let's just do some social commentary. Like, if you want Fallout, they've always been social commentary. They've always been, over the top ridiculousness, mixed with some very light philosophy.
Yep.
And you gotta love the bonus for being just dumb, having its own gameplay style.
Yep. All right, and
Yep.
my number.
Good one.
Well, go ahead, Phil.
Oh no, it was a good one.
Ah,
I like
my
it.
number 1.
What's your number 1, Boris? I want to hear.
Cuphead.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a simple
It's a
game.
solid game.
It's a fun game. Fucking hard as hell, frustrating as all hell, but I had a lot of fun with it when I played it. So that's why it's number 1. Honorable mention,
Definitely those.
Master Chief Collection. All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that is our list for Xbox, guys. We're going to jump into PlayStation 4. I think we're going to have a lot more fun with this one. I'm already looking at my list, and it's some interesting ones. So, worst, Matt, I guess you're done. You can just listen. You can comment. You can poke fun at us. So, now it's between Boris, myself, Phil, and Tyler. So, Phil, your worst PlayStation 5 game number 4. Oh my God. PlayStation 4. Worst, number 5. That's it.
And let's just kick off the controversy here. I freaking hate Dark Souls.
Fair.
I hate it so much, and I tried so hard to figure out what the hell people like about it, and I bought them all. And
You bought them all.
You bought them
Yeah,
all?
they were like $10 each, right? And I
Why
bought
would
the
you
discs.
buy them all at once?
I don't know, but it was the worst decision because the first disc went in, and I'm like, nope. The next disc went in, and I'm like, no. And it was I didn't even open one of them.
So
Amazing.
it didn't make my list, Phil, but you have all the solidarity from me. I have a bunch of friends who love those games, and they're like, Tyler, you should play. And I have something wrong with my brain or something because they're like, look, it's signaling its attack, and I'm like, no, it's just a gray noise.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just-
The game
ugh.
made no sense.
I mean, that too.
Tyler.
Oh yeah, but I couldn't even get through a fight. Like
Same here.
here's the primer. Okay, you got to defeat this monster. What the hell just happened? I'm on the easiest mode.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm trying to hit the buttons. It just was unpleasant.
And then people were like, just get good. And you're like, I have better things to do with my time.
Yep.
Yeah. Tyler, number 5 worst PlayStation 4 game.
Nier Automata.
Ooh,
Oh,
that was a woof.
Why would you play 90 hours of a game? And none of that is for me.
I'm gonna one up you on
None
my
of that
pick.
game. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you put 90 hours. Jesus, I wish I put 90 hours on this piece of trash. And
No, I
don't know
didn't
why.
put 90 hours in Nier Automata. I tried it for 10 minutes and was like, none of this is for me.
Dude,
and then I found out that to get the full ending, you have to play like 90 hours.
I kept trying to play this game. I kept thinking that this game was actually good, and that's No Man's Sky.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh, Boris, I'm so sorry I have to fight you on this.
Oh, if that's on your top list, I swear to God.
It's not my top list. I just think it's better.
It got better.
than
It got better,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
just no, not for me.
but
Not
still,
for me, guys.
not for you. Yeah, I respect that.
All right, so my
Uh-oh.
nephew sent me his list.
Ooh,
So I will be reading them for him, and his number 5 worst game of the generation is Shadow of the Colossus.
whoa.
Boris, how old is your nephew?
He's turning 15 today.
Okay.
Oh, happy birthday.
Look, I understand you're 15. That is a beautiful game.
It's actually, it was almost in my top list.
Same here. I'm sorry you're so wrong. And
There's going to be a day you go back and you play it and you're not going to be 15. You're going to be a lot older and you're going to go, this is brilliant.
like you're gonna do the single tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his reasoning was that the remake didn't improve upon anything from the original. I think that
Yeah.
was his argument.
Oh,
Camera
that's-
movement was really tough in that game.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'll give him
so,
that.
so that's that. All right, number 4, Phil.
Oh, this is going to get people a little bit upset. NBA 2K when they started putting all the freaking ads in all the time.
Matt.
Sorry, man. I know you like
I
it.
put it on my best games. I don't think that's completely invalid. It was like pretty much around that same time too. But like
Yeah,
I
it
completely
was.
understand.
It's the fact that they snuck them in. Like after I bought the freaking thing, and now all of a sudden I'm watching like commercials for shows that I'll never watch. Like that was garbage. That was just garbage. I'm like, screw you guys. I'm taking this game out. No. Trash.
What, you don't want to watch The Big Bang Theory, CBS Thursday nights or whatever the
Oh, I forget what show it was. It was awful. And it
Young
was like
Sheldon, baby.
No, it was some kind of
Probably not.
detective thing on Peachtree or something for me. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't even have this channel. Like it's just excruciating to be forced to watch this thing and then to watch it again and again. They replay the ad while it's loading. Like,
You know-
ugh.
You know how I know
I don't know
Phil's
what's
very
going to happen in the new ones.
You know how I know Phil's very upset as he's talking about this? He is not breathing or blinking as he's talking right now.
It was just trash. It was just trash. I couldn't stand the idea that I paid for a game that has to advertise like that. Give it to me for free.
I mean, I have a freaking TV that plays ads for me on all the time now. I hate this weird cyberpunk dystopia we're in.
Exactly.
Tyler, number 4, worst PS4 game.
Greedfall.
Oh yeah.
Greedfall. Yeah, it's just like they were like, "Hey, it's gonna be a great game," and then it wasn't. They're like, "But at least the story's good," and you're like, "Well, no, it isn't. Try again."
Okay. So my number 4 game, this was higher on the list, but it got replaced with another game, and I will call it out because I think it's kind of funny. But my number 4 worst game for PS4 was Mass Effect Andromeda.
Ooh,
And I don't have to justify
that was a
it.
woofer.
I don't have
Yeah,
to
you do.
justify it. What?
No, you do.
What?
It's my number 6 best game.
Really?
You're off the
Yeah.
show. That's
Holy
it.
cow.
You're gone.
All right.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Wow.
It was horrible. It was a bad game. The characters, they tried to replicate the same characters from the original series. The gameplay was subpar. The story was meh. I just couldn't.
Well, I think it would look for what that game had to be, it did its goddamn best. They had the B team who had never really made a game before were given 18 months and they were like, fucking run with this. And then 12 months before release, they were like, oh, scrap a bunch of that and do the Frostbite engine now.
Yeah,
The fact that game got made at all is phenomenal.
Do they want a participation medal for getting the game out on time? Like, no, it just wasn't good.
I'm saying, no, it is good.
No, it's not.
I don't agree with you at all on the gameplay being meh. It's just, if you liked 3, it's a bunch of the stuff from 3 again.
No, I'm not even. We're gonna talk this one through. I think we will need that therapist later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, get your podcasting voice ready. We might need you. All right, my nephew's number 4 worst game for PS4 was Call of Duty Ghosts.
I
Which
agree.
one was that one?
That was the launch title one.
Launch one.
That doesn't tell me anything. I don't know Call of Duty well enough.
Well, it was the one where you play and you shoot your gun.
God damn it, Phil. Look, you smarmy bastards.
It came with a frickin' bracelet as an extra.
Yeah,
Oh, you gotta show off your bling.
I have that bracelet. No, it's made out of rope. You can untie it and like apparently
Oh, it's
do
paracord.
something with it. Yeah.
It's paracord.
Yeah. It's a
That's-
military thing.
No, that's all. All of your wannabe military LARPers, you gotta have your paracord.
Yep. There you go.
Then you go your
buy
OG.
ghosts.
All right, Phil, number 3 worst PS4 game.
Okay. I really, on my worst list, I should have had Anthem in here somewhere, but I didn't because my contempt for all of these titles is so high.
Oh,
Just Cause. Any of it.
Oh yeah.
That series is a dumpster fire for me. The controls are crap. It's a poor man's GTA 5 in a James Bond shit coding. I hate it. I hate it, and I keep on buying it, and I hate it.
why do you keep buying it? It's
Because the advertising works, and then they go, "Hey, it's only $5.99 this week," and then you buy it, and it's like the Idomo guy, "Hey, it falls apart!" Ah, it just sucks. Man.
No,
It
look,
sucks.
look, Phil, I agree with you. The first one was bad, but had its moments because it was like, oh yeah, I can attach like a rope to a cow and make it fly around. That's cool. And then they kept making them.
Oh god, it was every
Yep.
time.
I like-
Marketing. train.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah. Really.
Like let's get rid of stealth in a stealth series. Let's add leveling and gear drops.
Oh man.
Is this
I mean, it's beautiful. I don't fucking know.
It does look good. That's about it.
Oh man. All right. So, Origins, huh? I it's sitting on my system. I haven't played it yet.
Having played literally every single Assassin's Creed and giving Unity a second chance after they patched it, because it launched, it was bad. It's probably bottom
Like
2.
Like
It's
Syndicate bad.
I didn't mind Syndicate. Syndicate
Okay.
it was dumb, but it was like I didn't hate playing Syndicate.
That's hilarious.
If that
That's the
makes
one
sense.
that they gave away for free, right? They were just like, please take it. Nobody
Yeah.
bought it.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, that one and Unity. Unity they also gave it for free. No, like Syndicate. I'm not defending Syndicate. I'm saying I at least had fun playing it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh,
I
this
get
is
ya.
dumb and like, all right, sure. But-
And then the floor vanished.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the bugs on it. You're thinking of Unity. Unity was the one with the brutal.
Maybe it was the
bugs.
Unity with the brutal bugs because I started playing that and
Yeah,
stuff
that was,
started disappearing and I'm
yeah.
falling through space and
That
I-
was,
it's
that,
just
that was the France one.
Well,
yeah.
fun
that's-
fact,
Yeah.
because my number 3 worst is Assassin's Creed Unity.
Nice. it got better once it was patched.
And fun
I mean,
fact, my nephew's worst number 3 game is oh my god, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
All right.
So, all I'm gathering is Assassin's Creed really didn't have a good run this generation.
No, Odyssey was phenomenal. They learned from all the mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was like staring right at you because I'm like, is he being sarcastic right now?
Me?
Yes, you.
Odyssey got good reviews, and like it's decent.
All right.
I'm not standing for these. I'm just like
Oh
similar
no,
to what
I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
But that was like, GTA 5 is like one of the best selling games of all time, and I was like, I fucking know.
Yep.
Yeah. Your opinion.
Well, I
yeah,
knew
wow.
you knew, but you just making
Gotta
the
get facts
point.
sometimes. Odyssey got much better reviews than the rest of them.
Oh my god. I hope listeners are still following us here. Number 2 worst game for PlayStation 4, Phil.
God, people are gonna hate this.
Do it, Phil.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the last freaking hard drive dumpster fire that hit the updates that come out every month are 100 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't play the single player game without downloading the 100 gigabyte like patch.
Oh yeah.
And it just drove me nuts. That is like cancer on my hard drive. I had to delete it. I was just like, get out of here. Never get me a download again. And the game itself was okay. It's just the fact that they mismanage all of the surrounding stuff with it. Just was so mismanaged. It made me hate the title.
Tyler, number 2 worst PS4 release.
Avengers. Like, look, and I went in wanting it to be good.
I know you
and
did.
I still give the single player story was like it was a C. It was decent. You know, if they had done something similar to Squadrons, where they just like released at a lower price point and didn't lean so hard into just the microtransaction bullshit, it would have been like, oh, that was an okay game.
Yeah.
That was okay, but whatever. But they swung so hard for the fences, and they worked so hard for it to be AAA. And as we're going to talk about, it's like $48 million debt on their neck.
Yeah. It's really bad. It's really bad. All right.
It's like the single, like if you own Sony stocks. Sony? Square Enix.
Square Enix.
Square
Enix, yeah.
Square Enix. That's the reason your stock dropped today.
Yep. That's a
Makes
painful one. All right. Number 2 worst PS4 release for me was NBA 2K, in parentheses, all of them minus 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for my nephew, number 2 worst was Watch Dogs 2.
Oh, bravo. Good pick.
Yeah.
Didn't make my list, but it should have. Oh, that was $69.99. I wish I had back.
Oh, you bought it? Yeah, I got
Oh.
it for $6.99. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is okay.
That's the way to buy it.
Yeah, right. For $6.99, I was like, oh, this is a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was not a good launch.
This is where we are, guys. Our worst PlayStation 4 release, Phil.
Oh man, people are gonna hate me again. Gran Turismo Sport. I don't know what it is about Sony, but they can't get driving right.
Yeah, no.
And I haven't
it's
been
horrible.
able to since the PS1 Gran Turismo, which
Yep.
actually captured my love of driving cars and its selection. And it just feels like every Gran Turismo has now worn me out to the point where I won't even touch that IP anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm done with Gran Turismo as well. Tyler, number worst release for PlayStation 4.
Destiny 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'm not shocked
Do you
that
wanna-
made your list.
Do you want to shoot things and get numbers? Like it's just
I played that for years, both of them, and we all quit.
Yeah.
At the same
Yeah,
time.
everyone I've talked to who played a lot of it didn't describe what they were doing as enjoyable.
Yeah.
No, it's just a huge grind. The
And-
whole
and-
game.
And that is 100% not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all quit.
How about you, Boris?
My worst game and my nephew's worst game, I kid you not, is the same game, and this already appeared on my Xbox list, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2.
The game so nice you hated it twice?
I hated it twice. I hated it twice.
That's fair.
All right. one more category, guys, and that is the
Yeah.
best for PS4. Number
I think
5.
we can blast through this one
Phil.
because I can't see controversy here.
I might have one with a little bit of controversy. Just
Okay.
a little.
Number 5 for me, Ghost of Tsushima. No brainer.
God, I mean, this is where I had problems with PS4. Is there were so many good games.
Yeah.
This is by no means the
Such a good
definitive list, but Ghost of Tsushima. Like
Honestly, and admitting the fact that it is a bit of a collectathon still, I don't think I've ever had more fun doing the collectathon part of a collectathon.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the
I
first
just
game.
loved everything about the wind, the directional stuff,
Oh,
the sound environments, the soundscapes. It's the only game that completely flew under my radar that absolutely captured my heart.
Yep.
So
And that game is one of the games that you like. If you play it with a headset, you just like hearing the sound effects that they added into that game is just absolutely beautiful.
oh, agreed.
All right,
Tyler.
This one might have a little bit of contention, just a little bit, but Watch Dogs Legion just came out recently, like this past week, and honestly, I'm just having fun playing it. Like it's got under my skin, and like I honestly will be like, you have a lull, and you're like, oh, what should I do? What should I play? It's never that anymore. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go play more Legions.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go play it. And it's not perfect. That's why it's 5. But it's just a lot of fun. And there's like it's very much like here's a bunch of fun tools and stuff, and I don't know, figure out the solutions to these problems.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Black Friday that goes on sale.
It's already marked down for Xbox.
Yeah. So Black Friday. Woo.
Yeah, like right now it got marked down again since we started recording.
Amazing.
Oof.
All right, number 5, best game for PS4 for myself is Uncharted 4.
Oh,
Solid
alright,
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
like
got
that series.
Uncharted, but I don't dislike them.
Yeah, I like that series. And for my nephew Alex, he says Doom.
Yeah, the
Good
reboot.
choice.
Yeah, the reboot.
I mean, has anyone, to go a quick tangent, just because I think it's relevant, have you seen the Tom Holland Nathan Drake leak?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Bit weird for me, but
A little weird, but
he's
it makes
a
sense.
cutie.
It makes sense. All right,
I get what they're doing, but
number 4.
All right.
Best game
Number
PS4.
4. For me, these are some sneaky titles for me that I wasn't expecting to be on a best list, but due to my enjoyment of said game, Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's on my list too.
That's a great one.
But
It also-
these are no-brainers. Like,
Wait, it was like, was it a launch title or it was early in the generation?
no, it was
No.
mid.
It was
It was
mid.
A
mid?
couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. It feels
it-
old, but it holds
About
up
16
so well.
or 17.
It's the guys who used to do Killzone.
Yeah,
That
no,
was the launch titles, was the Killzone stuff.
Right, that's right.
And it didn't do so hot. And then they went back to the drawing board, came up with Horizon Zero Dawn, and boom.
Yeah.
Insta hit.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler, number 4.
Last of Us 1 and 2.
Nice.
I mean, for all the hate they got, they're telling a story, and especially now, it's very obvious this is parts 1 and 2 of a trilogy,
Exactly.
and they're trying to tell a story. And like, I'm glad someone's taking some pretty solid risks in storytelling in video games.
Yep.
'Cause I feel like we don't get enough of that, honestly.
100% I agree. All right, and my number 4 best game for PS4 is Death Stranding. I really enjoy this game. It's not a game that's for everyone. There's a lot of walking involved, just a lot of hours. Game took me about 130 hours to finish, but I really enjoyed it. I'm a fan of Kojima. It was between this and Metal Gear, but I put this one because I had a lot more fun with this game. But yeah, Death Stranding. Number 4. And number 4 for my nephew was Mortal Kombat X.
Is that the latest one?
No, that's the previous one. Yeah.
It's the previous, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Phil,
for Mortal Kombat.
top.
Yeah.
PS4, number 3.
Number 3, another sneaky one for me. Didn't expect to love it. Absolutely blew me away. Spider-Man.
Oh, so good.
I will
Yeah.
interject and say that is also my number 3 pick.
Fair enough. My number 3 is Horizon Zero Dawn. So like, we're not. This is where we start to
Yeah,
get a lot of
yeah.
overlap.
I think
Those
it's gonna
top
get
loves for
sticky up at the
PS4.
top. Yeah.
Yep.
Briefly, if I may interject, what did you guys think of the story of Spider-Man? Because I thought it was a phenomenal looking game with an absolutely atrocious story that we just made fun of the entire time.
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was
like
okay.
pretty solid for what they needed.
It was,
yeah, my expectations really low on comic book IPs. Usually it's the gameplay they get wrong. So the story element just being there enough to pin it together worked okay for me, and I found it was interesting with some of the sub stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge Spider-Man head. Like, I don't obsess about Peter Parker or Miles Morales or any of these guys. So it was for a casual comic book kind of approach. It was absolutely approachable for me.
Yeah.
I also felt, to reference Assassin's Creed 3, they suffer from a similar problem as Spider-Man in that, like, a lot of the best and important parts of the story weren't part of the main quest line. They were actually like side quests where you learn important things, or at least stuff that added depth. And you're like, you get more information on why people are doing things, which it's a weird design choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that was very much a thing in Spider-Man, and I got like quite a bit into that game.
Yeah.
It's on my list yet, coming up. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, not to
No.
not to disparage it or make fun of it. I did not have like an experience with that game where I was like super into it. Like I just watched it being played in the same room while we were all drinking and stuff. So we found it to be easy to make fun of the story, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
The best part of that game is 100% playing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not a good game to watch.
yeah.
The gameplay is just unbelievable.
That's
Like,
where
I like it enough that that is the launch title I got for PS5 and the deluxe edition. So, yeah.
Nice.
All right, my nephew's number 3 pick is God of War.
Again, almost made my top list, but didn't.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're almost there. Home stretch. We're on to number 2, Phil.
Number 2, Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
There you
damn.
Tyler.
I still haven't finished it. It's still scaring me.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I have a friend who cannot. It's too scary.
Yeah.
And they have to come
Yeah.
over here, and I have to play it.
Yeah, I want it. I shit my pants every time something big happens, and
Oh God.
it's just like, okay, I'm not sleeping tonight. So yeah.
So good at making it feel real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Witcher 3.
Mm,
All
You
of
know,
it,
good one.
right?
So, here it is. That almost made my worst list.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly,
It's
it's
because you have no joy in your life.
I just couldn't. I tried. I put in the time, but I just wasn't enjoying it. Maybe I was going
You
through
put in-
something in my life. Maybe.
You put in more time than me because I just gave that up like a hot pile of garbage. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I just don't like medieval games, so it's not
That's
the game.
fair.
Yeah.
'Cause
Also,
my friends like.
I will also give the credit of that intro area it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
That
what it
intro,
was.
that prologue chapter is
Yeah.
is rough.
It was.
Yeah, I did make it out of that.
And it kept dying so easily. I'm like, if this is how this game's gonna be, fuck that shit. All right.
Oh,
My
interesting.
number 2 is Ghost of Tsushima. It's just a fun, beautiful game. My nephew's number 2 is Last of Us Part 2.
Oh,
Oh man, the gamer, we're gonna get canceled by the gamers, so they're gonna come for us.
I know.
yeah.
I know. I know.
Gamergate's
Gamergate's gonna be all over us.
Ah.
All right, guys. This is it. Number one.
For once,
Number 1. Phil.
God of War.
Nice.
Man, oh man, God of War.
Yeah, you
I
really
just,
did like that game a lot.
I played that game through like 4 times.
But you don't like medieval games.
No, that's the thing, right? I don't like RPG medieval,
Okay.
but that's an action. So it has a narrative, it has a story. I love the connection between Kratos and the son. I just loved where it hung. I went back and did all the extra challenges. I just found that one surprised the crap out of me because I didn't see it coming.
See,
So
and I'm not saying you're wrong, Phil. I'm just saying I'm perplexed because to me, like God of War, Kratos and his son, Witcher, Geralt and his adopted daughter.
Mhm.
Both you're doing pretty basic inventory management. Both have a roughly action. Like I'm just sitting here, like that's interesting that they're so different.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the menu layout. Maybe
It's
it's
something. Did you?
it was the feel. But
Yeah.
God of War with the music,
Oh
with
yeah.
the like the AAA title treatment that Sony gave it,
Mhm.
just really won me over.
Oh, that's fair. I mean,
And Yeah, and I got in on that early, like launch day.
Yeah.
So it was fun with Corey Barlog and all the guys on Twitter and everything like that. Like everything was like, oh, people still haven't found this yet, and people still haven't found this. And there was challenges being levied onto us as a fan base and whatnot. And yeah, I never really played the other ones too much. So I just found it was a really great way to reboot a franchise.
Nice. Acceptable. Tyler, number 1 PlayStation game for you.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yep, it's honestly the most fun I've probably had. It's probably one of the top most fun I've ever had playing a video game ever.
Mm-hmm.
I take Matt's criticism of the story could have used work. Like there's some gorky bits, but it's a very comic book in that way. But goddamn, if there was ever a game I was going to 100%, it's that one.
Yeah, my nephew 100%ed that one. He's gone in this thing of trying to 100% a lot of games. So he's done Spider-Man. He did God of War. He did Last of Us 2. He did Last of Us. He's one of those kids.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, yeah.
My number 1 pick, my best release for PlayStation 4 was Last of Us 2. Gamergate, come at me, bros. And my nephew's number 1 release for PlayStation 4 was Spider-Man.
Woot.
So it's very interesting kind of seeing how we all kind of had the same best, just in different orders for the most part. Couple variations with me and Death Stranding, my nephew and Mortal Kombat and Doom, but for the most part, a lot of the exclusives ended up on this list, which is something to say about how PS4 wanted to really drive their business through exclusives.
Yeah, I mean, they did good doing it.
All right.
I just sent Boris an image. I sent him my notes of my top and bottom.
Well.
And the honorable mention.
Well, I love it. Fucking love
Yeah.
it. All right, guys. That's
For the
it.
fans, my honorable mention was going to be Andromeda.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't. We're gonna have a serious talk about that one soon. We're gonna dedicate a whole podcast. It's just gonna be called Therapy Session.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Video game counseling.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's the best game ever. I think it's phenomenal for what they had, and I will defend it. But I also
clearly
defend Last Jedi, so, maybe I'm defective.
All right, guys, that's it. You know what? Honestly, this was a very fun generation. I had a lot of fun with a lot of these games, and I'm really looking forward to what PS5 and Xbox Series X has to give us. I think that, it's going to be a rough start. We have to remember, we're in the middle of a pandemic still. We have new engines, new hardware, new technology, new APIs that they're all working with. So, I think the first year, 18 months is going to be a little dodgy. We're going to see a lot of delays, but I think that we're going to see some amazing looking games, playing games. And guys, I am so proud of us because we did not say ray tracing once in this fucking episode.
I was gonna throw it in there at the end, like ray tracing.
I know,
Boris, ray tracing.
I know you were. So that's where we're at. Phil, how about you tell our listeners how they can send us their lists?
Well, you can find us at www.itscanonpodcast.com. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at It's Canon Podcast. You can email us at show@itscanonpodcast.com. You can subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, Amazon, really anywhere you find podcasts. You be sure that we're there. And if you don't see us, let us know because we'll put ourselves on that stuff. And if you like what you hear so far, make sure you never miss a show by clicking subscribe and be sure to smash that rate and review.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you,
You're
listeners.
welcome. That was a speed read.
Yeah, I know, that really was. I wasn't even expecting the throwback to me. So thank you, everyone, for listening. I know this show was a little longer than expected, but we had a lot of fun recording it. If it sounded like it was insanity, that's because it was. But it was a fun time, and like I said, I am looking forward to this next generation. Matt from Operation Sports, thank you for being on and listening to us as we were idiots.
Thank you for having me and allowing me to be one of those idiots.
I'm really looking forward to having you back on, and like I said, you are kind of like that bastard brother of the It's Canon podcast family now. So, welcome, enjoy.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap, guys. It's time to film or record another one. So thank you everyone for listening. We are the It's Canon Podcast, the podcast where we talk about all things, everything. We talk about all things comics, all things video games, all things toys, all things movies, all things Lego, all things PlayStation, all things 343 sucking. And that's because it's all in canon. Thank you so much. Good night.